special guest for tonight is Venessa Bartlett. Hi, Vanessa. Thank you. Now, you've been on the show with us once before, haven't you?
Yeah, a couple of months back, actually. It was my first time on the show with Steve, and I believe I gave away a little bit of information about myself that night, saying that I was pregnant. So it's really nice to be back to talk about pregnancy wellbeing.
Yeah, well, I tell you what, it's very slightly obvious. You're a very compact little package there. But Vanessa is giving us some tips on well-being and health and exercise during pregnancy. And you also are going to talk a little bit about the mind-body-soul connection to that, which I find that all very fascinating.
Yeah, definitely.
Okay, cool. So let's just get into some questions for you, Vanessa. Firstly, how does pregnancy affect exercise?
Well, yeah, in a few different ways. So physiologically, we're looking at blood pressure changes. So your blood pressure can go higher or commonly quite lower during pregnancy. That affects exercise. So for example, if you're into your second trimester, you wouldn't want to be doing any overhead presses, because the second that you raise your arm up, the blood pressure will change and you may start to feel a little faint during exercise. It's important for that.
Because I was saying to you in the green room a little bit earlier, I go to the gym and I see women that are in sometimes the latter stages of their pregnancy, and I see them doing all sorts of exercises that sometimes I think, I don't know if that's necessarily good for them.
Yeah, the body undergoes so much change and so much strain in different areas too. So your ligaments are changing, your blood pressure is changing, your hormones are affecting the relaxation of your muscles and your ligaments. So learning to stabilize the right muscles is really important. Not laying on your back during second and third trimester is also important. So yes, you're right. There are a lot of modifications that people may not know about at any age of pregnancy.
Yeah.
So it doesn't matter what age you are.
So could you just describe what happens if you lay on your back in the second or the third trimester? What does that actually do to the body?
Sure. So when you're laying on a flat surface on your back, the main vein that goes up to the heart and back gets blocked a little bit because of the uterus, because of the size of the tummy. So you've got this pushing down on your main vena cava. I'm not going to get too technical. Yeah. That's the name of it. So what happens is it can affect dizziness and give you really low blood pressure as well. So the tummy, just the weight of the tummy pushing on that vein is really important not to do that. So for example, if you're in a gym environment or doing even Pilates or yoga, laying on your back's not advised. What you want to do is get onto an incline. So if you were doing, say, a forward arm press, laying down like a bench press type thing, what you want to do is get that bench up on an angle so that your head is higher than your heart. And so the tummy doesn't have that pressure.
That's so funny because one of my favourite exercises is yoga. I do attend quite a few yoga classes, and I see often women in the later stages of pregnancy and they are laying on their back often, like rather than choosing to do other exercises that might seem, a little bit harder to do, they tend to choose to lay on their back. So that's really cool information.
Yeah. And even to do stretches, leg stretches and different arm stretches, there are ways you can do it sitting up with a bolster or something behind you, so you're not laying flat, and also standing as well, or using a wall or a chair as a support. So you can still get a good stretch and a good workout, but just with those modified variations of, bolster behind you, using a chair and so forth. So
what are the other physical changes that happen during pregnancy?
So we've got blood pressure, we've got hormones, we've got relaxation of ligaments. What affects physical changes though is the mental change that we go through.
Wow.
There's a real connection with, and I think that, of course, and you get more flexible too, so don't be deceived because you might go, oh, all of a sudden you're super flexible, you can get your leg up here and you never used to be able to do that. But you might be overstretching. So that can cause another issue by being too lax and too flexible. So a lot of ladies might go, oh, wow, I'm much more flexible and limber. The pelvis is changing as well, don't forget. So the pelvis is starting to maybe widen or just have different feelings and pains in that area, ready obviously for the birth. So
because the thing I noticed when I was pregnant is I think, don't the hip joints widen or something in order to create the space for the baby to grow?
It can happen, definitely. Not with everybody, but yes.
And also I found that I developed some back issues during that time. So once I could feel those changes taking place, I developed some fairly chronic back problems.
Was it upper or lower?
Lower.
Right.
Lower back.
Right.
Yeah.
So what's happening there is you're going into what you call a lordosis. That's a really big arch in your lower back. So an excessive arch. So rather than being just a subtle arch, because we all have that curve in our back, it becomes excessive because of the tummy, obviously. So learning to lift through your pelvic floor muscles and really engaging the stomach, not too intensely, but strengthening, plus working your upper back will help with the lower back problems.
I wish I knew all of this stuff. I mean, I think that a lot of pregnant ladies are going in, they're trying to stay fit, they're trying to keep their weight down. I mean, you know, that's obvious. But, you know, there's not a lot of information. Well, I certainly haven't come across a lot of information other than gentle walking, gentle exercises, whereas basically what you're saying is it's quite specific.
Yeah, that's
different,
right.
you know, specific core exercises and posture and such things that can affect maybe even long term, that you could create some sort of damage if you don't do it correctly.
Right. You don't want to be overstretching and you don't want to be over-strengthening. You know, if you're someone who does do weights regularly, you don't want to be pushing into those weights. Probably halfway through second trimester onwards, I'd be backing right off with that. Your body needs to find a balance of relaxation and strength, not hardcore strength if you're one of these people that does exercise quite strongly generally. It's important to pull back.
And with this mind-body connection, so you were saying to me a little bit earlier in the green room that when you first became pregnant, you had adjustments around, you know, how am I going to manage this, especially with your exercise regime. And I'm sure, you know, as for myself, I just didn't believe I was pregnant for the first 3 or 4 months. I think I was in denial. And, you know, I was scared. And I think anxiousness is such a part of the early stages of pregnancy. So with how does that affect the body, and how does that affect the way that our body reacts to exercise?
Sure. I think it's such a big transition, you know, especially for first-time mums. I think I wrote about this in a blog a few weeks ago, that it's such a transition that your mind and your body and your spirit are kind of going, whoa, what's happening here? Okay, yes, I can modify the exercise. That's not really a problem. You know, it is weird not being able to do what you normally may do to that extent. But it's this anxiety around, can I do it? Can I manage it around work? Can I run a business? Will I be a good mum? Will I even know what to do as a mum? You know, if it's such a big change mentally. And the thing is, when you're stressing about that, it can flare up those stress hormones like cortisol, which I think I mentioned last time.
Cortisol.
Yeah, you've heard about that.
The big bad guy for all sorts of health issues.
Right. So we need a bit of cortisol in our body to keep us moving and keep our adrenal glands fired up. But too much of it with high stress these days causes weight loss, stopping weight loss. It causes chronic health problems, damaging the immune system and things. So the thing is, if we're stressing during pregnancy, that will be going down to the baby as well. So it's okay to have a little bit of stress now and then, as we do, you know, a few things happen in life sometimes, but if it's this ongoing anxiety around those issues that pregnancy is bringing up for you, that's when it can cause a bit more of an issue for the baby as well. I was reading up on it the other day, I think I was mentioning to you.
Yeah.
So we've really got to watch that stress and the anxiety.
The baby.
Exactly.
So
it really does.
You were also talking before about meditation and the value of that during pregnancy. Obviously, we have discussed that a lot on this show, the value of meditation, but you were saying especially in pregnancy and as part of your exercise regime. So tell me a little bit about that in terms of, you know, how that helps to keep the whole holistic side of exercise going during pregnancy.
We all know that meditation is super important and we all need to be doing it with today's busy lifestyle. In particular, during pregnancy, having it spaced out during the day, perhaps maybe 5 or 10 minute blocks a few times a day to help manage your energy. So if you're the type of person that is, you know, still working during pregnancy, it's important to have that break. Morning tea, lunchtime, afternoon tea, get away from everything, go back to rebalance your energy and meditate, whatever that means for you. Some people can do it without music. And just be by themselves and focus on the deep breathing. Others may need a guided meditation, whatever works for you. I found that that's helped me to become more present, let go of some of those anxieties around pregnancy, the what ifs, will I be good, can I do it and all of that. If you can bring it back to yourself and connect with yourself, that will really help your energy and just rebalancing yourself during pregnancy for you and for the baby, and remain a little bit more centered without the hormonal influence as well, because they're sending you a bit crazy too.
Yes, we know about those ones. So just did you have any challenges yourself as a Pilates coach, training other people while you're going through all of these changes yourself, personally?
It's a really good question, actually. First 3 months was pretty much okay, because as you said before, you don't kind of think that you are pregnant. You're told that you are, but it may not, it doesn't show. So,
Or register.
For the first however long it is till you start showing. But then I found in classes teaching people, I had to stop doing the regular exercises with them. And I'd go, oh, I'm starting to feel a bit inadequate, a little bit, okay, I have to show them. If I can't show them, I'm not being the example to them.
Wow.
So I started to worry about that kind of thing too, teaching people, going, well, if I can't show them, how will they get the most benefit from my classes like they have done for years? So I had to let go of that and go, no, this is, about them. I need to modify to protect myself and my body at the moment. So I've modified the teaching to the point where I can sit down if I'm having a bad day or a really fatigued day, and just really instruct and communicate with people from a place where they can understand what I'm saying. So I've become quite good at trying to explain things without having to do it.
Physically do it. And fatigue is such a part of pregnancy. What would you say to some of our viewers who are pregnant, trying to stick with an exercise regime when they are going? I mean, sometimes it's just incredible fatigue when you're pregnant.
Yeah, I would say listen to those days. If you need to take a sick day and have a day on the couch, do it. That's the first thing. You need to listen to yourself. Listen to your body. You know when you need to stop fully, even though your brain will go, no, keep going. So listen to yourself. Communicate with the people close around you. So your partner, your family, friends, work colleagues, you don't have to pretend to be at their level during this time. Just be with yourself and listen to what you and the baby need.
Take it at that level.
Definitely.
And the thing I was saying to you earlier is there are there's a few of my friends that are currently pregnant in their 40s, and it's becoming more prevalent and more accepted, for women with their lifestyles to fall pregnant, later and later in life. So given that they're often career women, how or what would you say to them, to ladies that obviously the body's already changing because we're physiologically, chronologically older.
Yep.
So what would be something that you could say to, say, a lady in her 40s that discovers that she's pregnant and she's probably feeling the stress of exhaustion or trying to keep up with work? Just a tip or two for maybe exercise for somebody that's a little bit more mature.
Sure. I'd say stick with the moderate to gentle style of exercise. So some Pilates-based exercises where you're breathing with your movements, where you're really present. Working on the pelvic floor, those deeper stomach muscles that are really getting pushed down, you really need to learn to lift them up and connect with those muscles and fix your posture. So body weight strengthening. So we've got some yoga moves, some Pilates moves, which I show in some of my videos. And again, not pushing. Again, if you're at work, take those breaks, take those allocated breaks, no matter how busy you are. It's really important. And to keep up your energy as well, no matter what age, eat regularly. Every 2 to 3 hours, you should be snacking during pregnancy.
Because the blood sugar can go up.
It can.
And also, the thing that we've all discussed before is everybody has a different type of weight gain. Some women don't gain much weight at all, and some gain a lot of weight during pregnancy. And I know this is a really touchy issue for all of us as women. It's, it's a really vulnerable feeling if a lady is used to being a certain weight and then she suddenly gains, say, 10, 20, 30 kilos. So what do you think is the root cause for the difference between one person gaining a lot of weight and another? I mean, I know the obvious is that, it could be dietary, but are there any other causes for why a woman may gain more weight over another woman?
Funnily enough, I've been looking into this myself to try and understand a bit more about it. The research says basically it's up to your genetics. If you're eating well during pregnancy, There will be stages, I was saying before, the first trimester, I was eating cheese pizzas, going against everything I'd practice and preach in health and fitness because I needed it. My body obviously needed that to stop me from fainting and to stop me from having low blood sugar.
Sort of like carbs.
Yeah,
and
heavier food, carbs, and so you know, if and then you go through that phase where that does kind of go back to normal, and salads and vegetables will do it for you again, which is good. Having said that, yeah, it's genetic. So if your body needs to gain 20 or 30 kilos during pregnancy, that's okay. That's what you need to do. If you're eating moderately and well and taking care of yourself and doing gentle exercise and meditation and sleeping as much as you need to, and you gain 20 to 30 kilos, that's okay. And there's nothing that you can do to stop that. And some women will gain 5 kilos the whole time and be okay. So
rather
there's
like
really,
yourself, because really, I know that
I've
you
gained
said
a
there's a
little
baby
more,
in there, but I really don't believe you. So, you know, basically we have the same baby at the moment. We're about the same down the track.
I'm just wearing dark clothes to cover it a little.
No, not at all, really. We're just about the same. But thanks, Vanessa. I look forward to you coming back with your beautiful baby, and we hope that everything goes really well for
Thank you.
And just the best to you, and thank you for that advice, because I think women do need to give themselves a little bit of a hall pass during pregnancy. I think there's so much judgment and there's so much around it, the expectation. And there's enough on us as it is to be great mums and, you know, have a natural birth. And so I think you're right, just the gentle exercise. I have seen quite a few women at gym, and I do think they push themselves a little bit too hard. Yeah. One last thing I want to say just before I let you go. I don't know what I did today, but I had a very busy day, and I did go to the gym today. And as I was running out of the house tonight, I did something. I turned around and grabbed my bag, and I threw my back out. It's still sore, but I could barely, like I literally kind of walked in like a wooden horse. And Vanessa just did a little massage on my back for about 3 or 4 minutes.
Yeah.
I can't believe it's 70 to 80% better, and I honestly felt like an 80-year-old that was ready for a wheelchair half an hour ago. Thank you
So
for
glad
that.
I helped you.
So
No problem.
You've got healing hands for sure. We look forward to seeing you soon, darling.
Thank you.
Okay, take care.
Bye.
All right.